No place is perfect, and believe me, Salem does have a lot of issues that you may not like and end up deciding Salem is not the right place for you to live. Of course, Salem has a lot of great things going for it, ultimately leading my family and I to make the decision to move here. Now, like you, doing a lot of research, trying to figure out if I want to move to Salem. There wasn't a lot out there, not a lot of videos out there, and that's why I make these videos to help you in your decision-making process. In today's video, we're going to go over the pros and cons about living in Salem, Oregon. This is an update, especially now that I've lived here for about 3 years or so. I feel like I can give you a true account of the positives and the negatives about living in Salem, Oregon. And stay to the end, I am going to give you a couple bonus pros. We are going to start off with a list of pros because I'm more of a positive person. So if you want those cons, you've got to make sure you get through those pros to see what some of the negatives are about living in Salem. All right, starting off with the first pro on the list, one of my favorites, and I've only come to appreciate even more now living here for about 3 years, is the location of Salem, Oregon. Now, this was not on my radar when I first made the move. Sure, I looked at a map to see where it was, but I truly didn't appreciate how close everything was to Salem. Now, I'm going to start off with the coast. I'm a beach guy, came from Los Angeles, lived at the beach my whole life, so that's something I wanted to make sure that was still part of my life. So being about an hour and change away from the coast is something that I've come to really appreciate. I do day trips with my family. We'll do weekend getaways or even week-long trips to the coast, and it is so easy to access. And the Oregon coastline is some of the most beautiful coastline that I've personally experienced throughout the country. It's rugged. You have the forest meets the beach. You've got a lot of really cool coastal towns, coastal communities, so much exploration up and down the coast. Beautiful state parks with awesome hiking trails and tide pools, little museums, and just so much to do. Great seafood. Clam chowder is a big deal along the Oregon coast, and it's just so fresh, all the food that you're going to find along the coastline. And again, being so close to it makes it something that you can do every week or however you see fit. Now, I will warn you that the coast is cold. It's quite a bit colder. It is nice to get a little break from the heat that we get here in the summer, but just know that the water is pretty freezing, and the coast can be overcast, but that doesn't really bother us. My family and I came from sunny Southern California, used to the sun at the beach, but I just love being along the shoreline here. It's so much more beautiful than Southern California beaches and so much to explore. And it's just really fun for us. And so many of our friends and family take full advantage of being so close to the Oregon coastline. The other place that we are really close to is the Cascade Mountains. In fact, pretty much from anywhere in Salem, you look off to the east and you can see the mountain ranges, especially the snow-capped mountains, Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, and some of the other mountains. Beautiful, beautiful mountains there, and there's so much to offer. And there are so many mountain activities that are just right at your fingertips. Again, you're just about an hour and a half away from the foothills of the mountains and a good 2.5 hours or so into the heart of the mountains. Again, not that bad. Easy day trips, weekend getaways, and again, longer vacations if you want, but beautiful hiking trails. If you're a skier, there's plenty of options through the Cascade Mountains close to Salem, inner tubes and sledding, of course. There's fishing, there are lakes, there are incredible camping spots, and again, all really close to Salem, Oregon. Such a benefit to living in Salem. We take full advantage of that. We absolutely love living kind of right center between the Cascade Mountains and the Oregon coast. Two of our favorite things to do, two big reasons that was a big draw for us as Salem is being close to nature, which I'll get to later in this video. But we've really come to appreciate how close we are to the mountains and that type of lifestyle. But again, this wasn't even really on our radar when we first made the move on just how close these mountain ranges were. So definitely a benefit, definitely a pro. Now, keeping focused on central location, we're just about an hour away from Portland. So if you're someone that moved from a big city, like my family and I, sometimes you need the big city fix. You want that big city lifestyle. And so we just travel an hour into Portland and we're there. Now, again, I'd say day trips, weekend getaways. We won't do weekend getaways. I got no real desire to stay in Portland, but we love doing little day trips, hit up the museums, the zoo, some special events out there, or just some maybe higher end shopping or really cool cultural experiences that may not necessarily be here in Salem. And again, just being an hour away, totally easy to get to. You hop in the car and we're there. Don't need to think about it. Don't need to plan for it. We just go. And the beauty is we still get the Salem lifestyle, the smaller city lifestyle. It's exactly what we wanted. We absolutely did not want to live in a big city, yet we still are super close to any of the amenities that you would want from a big city. Now, going south, that would be north to Portland. Going south, you're about an hour and a half away from Eugene, so you can take full advantage of their smaller airport, and you don't have to worry about using PDX, the international airport that we have in Portland. Eugene has an airport. We go there often to fly anywhere along the West Coast, which is awesome. Plus, if you just want that college town feel and the University of Oregon sports atmosphere and kind of more of an artsy, eclectic setting, then Eugene is super close too. Fun little day trips again, and a fun little getaway if we want that type of atmosphere. So you can see Salem is really truly central to so much in Oregon. Now I will mention something briefly because I'm going to mention it later. We're really central to the wine country, just minutes away from hundreds of wineries in the Willamette Valley. So that's a little bonus as far as location goes. Now, number 2 on the list was really important for my family and I, is actually what we were specifically looking for, moving away from a big city. We wanted the smaller town feel, and Salem absolutely provides that. Now, we're technically a mid-sized city. We have just under 200,000 people that live here, but it acts and feels, and the lifestyle just plays out. It feels like a small town. A lot of that has to do with the downtown area. It's really kind of like 7 square blocks. Half of that is to government buildings. We are the capital of Oregon, so you'll see the big Capitol building in Salem and some other government facilities. But when you break that apart, there's really only about 4 square blocks of downtown, and it's really charming. Old historical buildings, brick buildings, and the tallest building's like 9 stories high, and there's only one of those. Most of the buildings in downtown, or anywhere in Salem for that matter, is going to be 3 or 4 stories. And so you get to walk the downtown area and not feel completely overwhelmed by these tall buildings blocking out the sun, blocking out the sight lines. And again, with the historical feel of Salem, there is that added charm of the small town. What also adds to the small town feel is you can pretty much get anywhere in Salem within 20-25 minutes. In fact, you can practically drive across the whole city in 30 minutes. So that in itself makes it feel smaller. And then there's really no cities surrounding Salem outside of Kaiser, which is like our sister city that's truly connected to us to the north. Outside of that, it's just farmland and countryside. So you feel a little bit more secluded. You don't feel like you're just traveling from one city to the next city to the next. And so that adds to that small town charm. And again, that's something that we really appreciate. It's something that we wanted, getting away from the big city. We have less congestion. When you go to community events or some of the parks or just enjoying the city itself, you don't feel inundated with people. You don't feel like you're shoulder to shoulder trying to walk through places. You feel like you have a sense of space. I love how when you go to community events or you're going shopping or to a restaurant, that you run into people that you know from your neighborhood. And so that also adds to the small town element. Also, when you go to these establishments, a lot of the storefronts, you get to know the people that are working there. And so again, that also gives its small town charm, something that you just don't get coming from a big city. As a reminder, I'm Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty, a local real estate agent here in Salem, Oregon. And like you, I did a lot of research before I relocated my family, so I can completely understand what you're going through, what you're looking for, some of the important things that you are questioning. So if you are looking to move here and you need help with home purchasing, please contact me at the information popping up or in the description below. Also, if you like what you see, hit the like button to get this video out to more people like yourselves. Comment below, love to answer your questions there. And of course, subscribe to get more videos like this one. Number 3 on the list is easy access to nature. And again, this is something that was important for my family and I. We are nature buffs. We love going and surrounding ourselves through nature. And I had mentioned this before, but Salem is just surrounded by it. I love that we have farmland and countryside surrounding us and not just continuous cities connected to continuous cities. When I need a breath of fresh air, I literally get in my car and just take a drive through the countryside. It takes me like 10 minutes to get there, and I'm off in country roads. It's peaceful, it's quiet. I'm among farmland, and it just gives you a sense of freedom, a sense of freshness, and I really appreciate that being here in Salem, Oregon. Another bonus for being so close to the farms, and again, this wasn't on our radar, we didn't really know this existed much, is that a lot of these farms open up to the U-pick season, which is spring through fall, where they invite the public to come in and pick your own fruit. And it is some of the freshest fruit you can imagine. I love eating the fruit right off the vine. We take so much home with them that we freeze it with us, and it's low cost. It's a lot of fun activities for the kids. We love doing it, and it's just fun to be out in the farm, being part of their world, and it just adds another connection to being around nature. Agritainment is really big with these farms. Even during the fall, they put on awesome fall festivals, pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and so much more. The other really cool thing about Salem is that we really appreciate our parks here, and we have a wonderful park system here, and we've got really big major parks here, including Minto Brown Island Park, which is just acres and acres of protected lands right along the Willamette River. It's a beautiful place to take a walk, surrounded by nature, beautiful tree-lined paths, easy walking paths. We're not talking vigorous hiking or anything like that. So you can go biking there, take nice walks, strolls. It's a beautiful park space to do picnic areas. They've got a playground there. They have access to the river. They've got enormous off-leash dog park, which is really cool for all you dog lovers and have fur babies. And it's just a few minutes outside of downtown and probably 20-25 minutes from anywhere that you would live in Salem. It's just an incredible park system. We also have Riverfront Park, which is just adjacent to the downtown area, again, along the Willamette River. This is where they do a lot of community events. Again, more walking paths and bike paths there. They have an amphitheater there for concerts and movies. They've got a really big playground for the kids. They've got a splash pad there. They've got an old-time carousel, which is really cool. And just a lot of open park space. So you'll find people out there just kind of hanging out throughout the year. And it's a really beautiful spot adjacent to the downtown area. There is also Bush Pasture Park, which has a historical home on it. This is where it's home to the Summer Art Festival. But more than that, again, it's just big open space, really close to the downtown area. Again, more paths to enjoy a garden there. You've got sports field. You even have soapbox derby racing lanes there. You've got a beautiful rose garden there, a playground there, and it's just a really cool spot to explore. There are also plenty of neighborhood parks throughout Salem. Each neighborhood has its own little park system, smaller than the ones that I mentioned, but again, because we love our parks here, it's really nice. We bring our kids to these all the time. They enjoy walking some of the paths that they have in the park, of course, all the playgrounds. My kids are into sports, so we take full advantage of all the sports courts and baseball fields out there. But you can pretty much guarantee any neighborhood that you choose to live in will have at least a local park within it or really close to it. And of course, these three major parks that I mentioned. We have trail systems that are just outside of Salem as well. One of the most popular ones and so beautiful is Silver Falls. It's home to 10 waterfalls there. And it's a beautiful trail. You can walk behind the waterfalls. You've got camping out there. You've got picnic areas. You've got tent camping, cabin camping. You've got water play out there. Just a beautiful place. There's a little cafe and restaurant as well. You could really spend the whole day there or weekend, of course, if you're camping. But that is really close, about 40 minutes outside of Salem. And it's something that my family enjoy doing throughout the year. You also have the Oregon Gardens, which is in Silverton, about 30 minutes outside of Salem. A beautiful site to walk through. It's so peaceful. Anywhere from beautiful flowers to old growth trees and fun little areas, a kids zone. You also have a lot of nature reserves outside of Salem city limits for great hiking paths and strolls. And along the Willamette River, there are a number of walking paths as well. So really easy access to nature. You're just surrounded by it all. And that's a really big pro for living in Salem. All right, the next pro on the list, and I mentioned this earlier, was just how close you are to the wine country. This is a big pro for all you wine lovers. And even if you're not a wine enthusiast, it's really fun places to visit and explore. And we're right in the heart of the Willamette wine country with over 700 wineries and vineyards in this area. When you live in Salem, you're just about 20-30 minutes and you're in the wine country. If you live in West Salem, you're like 5 minutes and you're in the wine country. And it's pretty special to be there. There's a lot of events that they hold throughout the year, seasonal events, holiday events. A lot of corporations hold events there as well. Now, this may not be a reason you actually move to Salem, although maybe wine is enough driving factor to do so. But it's a nice bonus. That's something that you just don't really think about necessarily. It's not on your radar. But once you live here, realizing how close you are to these wineries, it's a really cool spot, and it's really fun to explore. Now, the Willamette Valley is known for its Pinot Noirs, so if you're a Pinot Noir fan, even more of a bonus. I should also mention, not only are we in wine country, But we've got a lot of cider houses and breweries in Salem. There's about 20 of them, a little less than the wineries and vineyards. But if you're into hard ciders and beer, Salem's got you covered for that. And again, you can visit a lot of these facilities. And the really cool thing is that they're so close to Salem that a lot of the local restaurants, they're serving these local wines, they're cooking with the local wines. So it just all blends together. It's a really big part of the Salem culture. Fifth on the list of pros is the amount of community events and activities that occur here in Salem. Just blew my mind. I had no idea that this was going on in Salem before we moved here, and it's been a great, pleasant surprise for my family and I. We take full advantage of everything that is offered here in Salem. Now, you can argue that there's not a lot to do in Salem, and that may be a hint of what's on one of my cons, but Salem really does put on a big effort to put on these events throughout the year to really bring the neighborhoods and the community together, everyone that lives in Salem, and enjoy these events. And what I love about it is that people that live in Salem truly appreciate and love going to these events. And again, being a smaller city, you can actually enjoy everything that these events have to offer. You don't feel like you're fighting crowds, standing in line to do an activity. You can enjoy the whole thing and not feel like you're just super congested. We've got the state and county fair here, which our kids love going to with all the rides, games, activities, seeing all the farm animals, the art competitions, the food competitions, all the food there, and all of the sub-events like the concerts and that come along with the state fair. The community really surrounds and rallies around that event. We've got Forest Fest and Ag Fest, again, highlighting the importance of nature, and it just makes sense, again, being surrounded by countryside, that they hold these events to really bring the community into their world or into the world of nature and celebrating it. And it's again, spectacular. It's really highly attended, and you're going to see your neighbors and friends and family there as well. The city does a great job during the summer of putting on movies in the park, concerts at the park, typically held at Riverfront Park, so that's special. The community really rallies around that. We've got the Ironman event here, which is awesome. We've got Hoopla, which is a 3-on-3 basketball competition. Both of those events bring in people from all over the world, actually, to participate in these events, and they're just fun to watch. We bring our kids and we cheer on the participants. It's great. We've got the Cherry Blossom Festival right outside the Capitol building. For a couple of weeks, these cherry blossoms bloom like you wouldn't believe, and they've got a festival with that. We've got holiday lights in the park and holiday parade during the winter season. We've got the fall activities and fall festivities at the farms, which I had mentioned before. They have corn mazes, pumpkin patches, games for the kids, food for the kids, cider donuts, tractor rides, obstacle courses, and so much more. Just absolutely love going to those events during the fall. And the cool thing is that there's just so many of them. You can hit up one every week basically, and there's just something new to experience. We also have the Saturday market that covers spring through fall as well. Right outside not right outside the Capitol, but basically near the Capitol building in the downtown area. And that's a great community event too. You get your fresh produce, you've got your vendors there that are selling their wares, you've got some entertainment, you've got food trucks there, and that's just fun to do. We hit that up quite often when that's going on as well. There are so many more events like Family Fest, World Beats, Music Day, and so much more. I feel like Salem doesn't sell itself enough on these events, and it really should, because this is something we weren't really aware about. Even through our research, we didn't know about it until we lived here and realized how much was going on. And again, that kind of makes up for some of the lack of other entertainment that we have here in Salem. But we just love these events, and you'll probably love it too. All right, you may have been waiting for the cons list because everyone wants to know what's wrong with the city of Salem, and we sure have found some that have definitely affected us, but not enough to make us leave or prevent us from moving here in the first place. Now, we came from a big city, so number one on our list is the lack of nightlife here. And we thought that might be a problem, although our lifestyle has changed. Since having kids, we don't go out as much. We used to take full advantage of the big city life, going to bars and clubs and massive concerts and all sorts of things, but that's just not in our lifestyle anymore. So it didn't really affect us as much, and I'm happy about that. I was actually concerned about moving from a big city to a place that, here in Salem, places close 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and a lot of places close earlier than that, even on the weekends. So if you're someone that's looking for a lot of clubs, a lot of bars, places that stay open after hours, or just a lot of entertainment in the evening, you're not going to find that here in Salem. And so, honestly, if I was in my 20s before having kids, Salem might not be the place for me. In fact, it probably wouldn't. And so, if that's something that's important to you, yes, we're close to Portland. You can go into there, but it's different. You got to travel an hour to get out there. And if you're drinking and having fun with that, you don't want to drive, and taking an Uber from Portland to here would be quite expensive. So it's not really that much of an option as far as your like bar hopping and clubbing. Now, if you're going to big concerts, that's easy to go into Portland. No big deal. And we have some smaller concerts here in Salem. But if that light night lifestyle is something you just crave, Salem's not going to be the right place for you. And we're just not going to have that. We are growing with more forms of entertainment, but it's just a quieter city. And so you will have issues if that's important. All right, the next con, and continuing with lack of, is we have a lack of shopping options here. We have one shopping center, well, two, I should say. We have one outdoor shopping center, which is the Willamette Town Center, a little in the eastern portion of Salem, where it has a lot of your big box shopping, like Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, Best Buy, Sierra, Foot Locker, and there's some restaurants there, casual eats like Applebee's and Ruby's. There's also a movie theater, so that's one of our movie theaters right now going on in Salem. And across from that, you've got Target and another big shopping center there too. That's not really part of Willamette Town Center, but it's all in the same area. We have an indoor mall that's kind of defunct, although it's been bought by a developer and being revitalized as this video is being shot. So hopefully there gets some more life in there. They're bringing in more restaurants and different shops. But as of now, like Macy's went out of business. Kohl's is probably going out of business. And some of the other storefronts have closed too. But again, they're trying to revitalize this. You do have the downtown area, which is a shopping district. It's just, you're not going to have the same experiences you are if you would living in Portland or another big city. We just don't have that. So if high-end shopping, or if that's something that's important to you, Salem is not going to be the right place for you. We just don't have it. It's more of a casual place. No real special shops and specialty stores. We have a few boutiques and a few cool places here and there, but that part's lacking. And again, this was probably important to me when I was younger. My priorities have changed. I'm less interested in that type of stuff, but some people are still interested in it. And if that is important to you, then Salem's not going to be a good fit for you, and you're going to probably be severely disappointed. Now, again, you could get your fix by just strolling up into Portland, again, about an hour away, and you can easily get your fix. In fact, it is best of both worlds, in my opinion. Live in a smaller town. If you want that shopping experience, head on into Portland. It's not that bad of a drive, and if you're just doing it for the day, it's no big deal. You get your fix in. All right, we've probably come into the biggest con that we have here living in Salem, and what's on a lot of people's minds and what people are concerned about, and frankly, what I was concerned about. Again, I came from a very sunny place, and weather is a big factor here in Salem. So it rains a lot here, about 150 days of precipitation, but more importantly, not so much the rain, a lot of gray skies. And this worried me, this concerned me. I love the sun. I love being outdoors. I wasn't sure how this was going to affect me. I've traveled to Salem a few times before moving here, so I got a sense of what it's like, but it's different until you actually live and experience it for a longer period of time. If you're someone that suffers from seasonal depression, or you need that sun to feel happy, you may want to consider not moving to Salem. It's very real here, the gray skies and the rain, and it is about half the year. Now, I'll say my first year was a little bit of a challenge, but I got used to it real quick and actually began to appreciate the seasons more than get discouraged by them. I also come to appreciate that all that rain provides all the green that we have here in Salem, and I love nature. I love green. I love green space, and so of course I know we need the rain. Also, now I will say that it does add some extra time to whatever you're thinking about doing, especially if you have kids. You've got to buy extra layers of clothes. You're getting raincoats and rain boots, something that I wasn't necessarily used to. Of course, if you're moving from a place that has a substantial amount of rain anyway, this may not really bother you. But in general, for us, it was a big difference. It just takes a little bit of extra time getting in and out of the house. Sometimes the kids are a little bit, annoyed that it's raining for several days at a time, and keeping them from doing some of the outdoor activities that they would normally do. So they're kind of playing more indoors, but we find ways to entertain them. There's a lot of indoor activity centers here in Salem, a lot of fun zones, so we can stay active and be indoors as well. I will say in general, our weather is mild when you compare it to many parts of the country. Yes, it rains a lot, and yes, it's gray a lot, but we don't have severe weather here. Even the rain that we don't have massive thunderstorms coming through every time it rains. We get a couple, but most of the time it's just a light rain, a light drizzle, a mist, just kind of feels damp and wet. No real tornadoes, no hurricanes, no stifling humidity that you'd find in the South, no massive snowstorms. It snows maybe once or twice a year for a couple days. The snow sticks for a little bit, doesn't last that long. We have a lot of fun in it. We get maybe an ice storm. That's a little problematic, but again, it doesn't last all that long. So in general, the weather is pretty mild. However, it comes with gray skies and rain. The last con on our list, and again, I've got a couple more bonus pros beyond this point here, but the last con on our list is something that a lot of cities are dealing with, and Salem is certainly not immune to this, and that is the homeless problem that we have here in Salem, Oregon. Now, again, I moved from a large city, so the homeless problem in large cities far exceeds what we experience here in Salem. However, it is a problem, and it is growing. In the 3 years that I've been here, I've actually seen it get worse, and so that's very unfortunate. Now, I'm not going to get political here, and I don't really have the answers to it. I just know it's an issue and it's a problem, and it's affecting different parts of Salem. Now, it doesn't affect Salem as a whole and everywhere you go. Big cities, my experience in living in Los Angeles and other big cities, traveling there, it seems wherever you go, massive homeless problem. Here is pretty isolated to the downtown area for the most part, and adjacent to that is a park, which I don't recommend going to because there's a lot of encampments there, then there's a homeless facility there. So there's a larger congregation in the downtown area. Again, very typical of a lot of cities throughout the country, but it is getting worse and it's becoming problematic, and it's also spilling over into some of the parks, not all of them, but some of the parks that are a little bit closer to the downtown area. So you'll absolutely notice it when you are driving through the city, especially if you frequent the downtown area like we do. And it is very well known throughout the community, of course. The city council is trying to deal with it. There are many sides to this issue. A lot of people have varying opinions on how to deal with it, but it is an absolute problem. And however, the good news is, again, in a vast majority of the neighborhoods, it doesn't really spill over into your residential neighborhoods per se. There are a handful of neighborhoods that are, again, the closer you are to the downtown area, the more likely or the more chance that you will come across homelessness closer to the residential areas. But as you get a little bit further out, it doesn't affect you as much. There is one caveat to that. If you're kind of in parts of the northeastern portion of Salem, you may run into that a little bit more. But again, most of it is central to the downtown area. All right, we've got our first bonus pro, and that is that there is no sales tax in Salem, but that's really applies to the whole state. There's no sales tax in Oregon. So if you weren't aware of that and you come from a place that has a sales tax, and I came from a place that had a high sales tax, this was a really cool bonus. Whatever you see the price on the shelves or on the menu or at the gas pump, or not the gas pump, but other places that you see pricing at when you buy things, cars, whatever it is, there's no sales tax. So the price is what you see. That to me is awesome. I love that idea. It was a bonus for us. It means we're paying, our costs are a little less expensive coming from a high sales tax area like we did. And so just be aware that is a cool bonus. You're coming to a place that there is no sales tax. Again, I am Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty. If you're thinking about making that move to Salem, Oregon, or the surrounding areas, and you're looking to purchase a home or sell a home if you need to, give me a call, contact me, text, email. Contact information's popping up. It's also in the description. We love helping people make that relocation. I can absolutely relate because I, like yourselves, did a lot of research before moving to Salem. I can understand what you're going through, and I'm happy to help. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Hit the like button to get this video out to more people like yourselves searching and thinking about moving to Salem. Comment below. Love to hear your thoughts about my pros and cons list. I probably missed some. If you think of any, I'm glad to address them in the comments below.